So I'm having an issue with my Genie Pro, and what it's doing is anytime I try to operate it makes this kind of noise. Okay, so right now you can see the back side is spinning, but it gives that humming sound once in a while. See, like this. It tries to turn, but it doesn't. And here's what I did to eliminate any of this. I just removed this bar a little further back by removing these two screws and the screws on the back side, and then I pushed it back, disconnected all the wirings and everything, and just trying to run the motor to make sure. The problem is over here somewhere, and I'm suspecting maybe the capacitor is bad, so I'm gonna try to replace that and see how it works. Okay, so I can't figure out what exactly is wrong with this motor. It just this thing stops spinning and I have to press the clicker a few times. So I've tried multiple things, nothing seems to work, so now I'm going to take this entire motor down, and for me to do that there are two screws up on top. I'm going to unscrew those and unwire a few things, whatever is coming up, the other switches and stuff, and bring the entire motor down. So down, I had to unwire from the front of this. There are 4 wires. Just keep track of where the wire goes so you don't confuse yourself, and that's it. Everything just comes down. And what I did was I removed the back spindle, and there was an electronic board right here. Just one screw, the whole thing comes off. And there are 4 screws that is holding the assembly, and I just removed those and just wiggle this out, and the motor is right inside. Just make sure you make yourself some room so you can wiggle this thing out, and here it is. You can see there's a lot of gunk and stuff like that, and what I'm thinking is what's stopping this motor from turning is a lot of this gunk. So I'm going to try to clean all this up and see if I can put some lubrication here and maybe up on the front too, and see if that would improve the movement on the motor itself. So here's the core for the motor, and I'm just going to clean this out with a rag, and I think they call it a stator if I'm not mistaken, but I'm going to clean all this out, the washer and everything, just to make sure it's nice and clean, and then put this back in, clean all this out, and then hopefully I can clean all this mess and put everything back together and see if it starts to work any better. Know your pieces when you take things apart, so I'm gonna lie everything down and make sure this opening side is facing outwards, and there's a washer inside here as well. On the back side, take this out, and there's nothing else. Now it's nice and clean. So I'm going to clean all this out, just make sure it's nice and shiny, and clean up all the parts, and put some lubrication and put everything back in. I put a little bit of lubrication grease on the front and the back, very little, just a layer, and I'm going to put everything back to normal.